Marty, this is all about focus. Think about Alice. Keep driving. Eyes on the road. The hitchhikers will step out eventually. They always do. Just don't look back at them. Don't ever look back. Don't think. Just drive. I have a lot of love for my parents, having the generosity to take Alice and me in after her leukemia relapsed. But goddamn, do they live so far away from civilization. Or maybe there just ain't a lot of civilization in Idaho to go around. Not in a bad way, the quiet is nice. I've been enjoying the countryside more than I anticipated. That being said, they could stand to spend a little bit of taxpayer dollars for a few more Walgreens locations. Feels like I've been driving all night. Must almost be morning. They have to be worried sick. Alice may actually be physically sick without her anesthesia meds. I shook my head side to side in a mix of disbelief and self-flagellating shame. Took a left turn when I should have taken a right. A downright boneheaded mistake. The price for overworking myself, but, I mean, what other option do I have? Chemotherapy ain't exactly cheap. For a moment, I forgot where I was and what I was doing. Accidentally looked at my rearview mirror at the 5 hitchhikers in the back seat, silent and staring forward with dead and empty eyes at nothing in particular. Furiously, my eyes snapped forward, not wanting to linger too long on them. Wasn't sure what else I'd see. Can't be doing that on this road. Maintaining focus is key. Despite my near instantaneous reaction, I did see the new hitchhikers, but only for a moment. No surprises at this time, thankfully. They wore suits like all the others, monocolored in earthy tones from head to toe. Same odd fabric too, rough and coarse looking, almost like leather. Honestly, never really seen anything like it before tonight, but I have never been in a situation like this before either. Whatever backwoods county I got myself turned around in, it likes to follow its own rules. For example, I didn't pull over to pick up these hitchhikers. Somehow they just found their way in. Or maybe I did pull over and let them in. Been so tired lately. Who could even be sure? They don't say much, no matter how many questions I ask. Would love to know where I am, but I guess it isn't for them to really say. My gaze again drifted, this time from the road to the car's dashboard, and let myself see the time. Big mistake. 7:59 p.m. No, that ain't right. I rapidly started blinking a few times, adjusting myself to sit up a little bit straighter and then looked back to the clock again. Now it didn't show any time at all. Marty, Jesus, focus up. I blinked once more, this time for longer. Not sure how long I was blinking. Couldn't have been longer than 10 seconds. If I close my eyes for too long, they become harder to open again. Requires a lot of energy. Anxiously, I peered back at the dashboard for the third time. 4:45 a.m. See, there we go. Now that makes sense. By the time dawn arrives, I'm sure I will have found a gas station to pull over and ask for directions back to wherever my parents' address is. I'll figure that out later. Right now I need the focus. Funny things happen in this part of the country when you didn't focus. Sometimes the yellow pavement markings would change colors or disappear entirely. Other times the road itself would start to look off, black asphalt turning into muddy brown stone at the moment's notice. At first it scared me a lot, but come to think of it, made me want to pull over and close my eyes. But Alice needed her nausea meds, and judging by the time, I had work in 2 short hours. I needed to make it home soon so I can check on her, give her a kiss before school. Hopefully I'll have time to brew coffee too. My eyes though, they just don't seem to want to stick with the program, dancing around from thing to thing like they don't have a care in the world. They have one job: watch the road for places that might have a map or someone who can tell me where I am. Well, 2 jobs: watch the road and focus on the road. At least it wasn't treacherous. The path was pretty much straight after the wrong turn. Initially, Alice was pretty nervous about starting her new school, and I get it that transition is hard enough without factoring in everything she's had to manage in such a short life. We'd been lucky though, finding a well-reviewed sign language school in Idaho of all places. She's amazing. You'd think that the leukemia and the deafness from her first go with the chemotherapy would have crushed her spirits. Not my Alice. She's tough as nails. Tough as nails like her dad. I smiled, basking in that moment of the fatherly pride. Of course, you can't be doing that on this road. You'll start to see things that you don't want to see. When my eyes again met the rearview mirror, I noticed there was only one hitchhiker now, but he had transformed and revealed his real shape. His face was flat like a manhole cover, almost the size of a manhole cover, but less circular, more oblong. He was staring at me with one bulging eye. It was the only one that he had, the only one that I could see at least. No other recognizable facial features, just the one bloated, soulless eye. What's worse is that I saw what was behind him. Behind the car, I mean. I closed my eyes as soon as I could, but my mind was already rapidly reviewing and trying to reconcile what I had seen behind the car. There was a wall a few car lengths away. No road to be seen, just an inclined wall with tire tracks on it. The atmosphere behind me was a weird thickness. Light rays shone through the thickness unnaturally from someplace above. The ground looked like dust or maybe sand. Why would the ground look like that? Focus. Think of Alice. And focus. When I finally found the courage to open my eyes, it all looked right again, and I breathed a very big sigh of relief and chuckled to myself from behind the wheel. Straight roads in front of me, framed by the starless black sky. Everything is in its right place, until I saw something snaking its way into my peripheral vision. The hitchhiker was now in the passenger seat. He turned to me and leaned his body forward over the stick shift. His lips were pursed and nearly pressing against my ear, rhythmically opening and closing his mouth, but not making any sounds. I could have sworn that he was close enough to touch my ear with his lips, but I guess he wasn't because I couldn't feel it. Instead, I felt my own heartbeat starting to race, or I imagined what it would feel like if my heartbeat was to race. Why did I have to imagine? Don't turn, don't look, don't think, just focus. But then, like the angel as she was, Alice's visage appeared on the horizon. She was standing at the second-story window in my parents' home, watching and waiting for me to return from this long night. I wasn't getting closer for some reason, but she wasn't getting any further away. She was far, but even at the distance, I could see her doing something in the window. When I squinted, it looked like maybe she was waving. Alice was waving at me. Alice could see me. Must mean I'm close. Eyes on the road. Focus. Every night around 8 p.m., Alice would stand and watch the road from her bedroom window on the second story of her grandparents' home. What she was waiting for didn't happen as often anymore, but her birthday was a week away. The phenomenon seemed to be more frequent around her birthday. As the clock ticked into 8:03 p.m., she saw a familiar sight. 2 faint luminescent orbs traveled slowly down the deserted road in her direction, creating even fainter cylinders of light in front of them, like headlights from an approaching car. The first time this happened, Alice was 9. To cope with her father's disappearance, she would watch the road at night and pretend that she saw a car returning home. One night, she saw balls of light appear in the distance, and it made hope explode through her body like fireworks. The balls of light turned into the driveway, and when they did, Alice noticed something that made hope mutate into fear and confusion. The headlights had no car attached, dissolving without a trace within seconds of their arrival. For months, this was a nightly occurrence, and only she could see it, which scared Alice. But when she formally explained the phenomena to her grandfather for the first time, how they looked like headlights without a car, a weak and bittersweet grin appeared on his face, and he carefully brought up his hands to sign to her. I'd bet good money that's Marty making his way home, sweetheart. He just loved you that much. From then on, the orbs confronted Alice and made her feel deeply connected with her long-lost father, wherever he was. But in the present, at the age of nearly 17, she had modified the purpose of her vigil. Originally, she liked the idea of her father's endless search for her. It made her feel less alone. But as she lived life and matured, she realized how alone he must be for looking for her from wherever he was. All she wanted was Marty to stop looking. She wanted her father to finally rest. Now, when the orbs passed by, she would sign to them from her window, desperately hopeful that even from there, that he could see her hands move, communicating an important message to him. I love you, and I miss you. But please, Dad, let go. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna apologize about my voice going in and out like it is. It's I've been sick for the past couple weeks, and I didn't want to say anything, but it sucks. It sucks very much. And of course, with me, what it is, it really sucks even more because it's always gonna affect my voice every single time, like depth-wise as well. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, if you like this and you would like to hear more like this, make sure to like, comment, and if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If this is your first story of mine that you've heard, I apologize. Make sure to go check out something else because I am very sick and my voice is going in and out, and it's probably not going to sound the best. But this was a really good story, and I would really like to do more of these. But make sure to check out the links in the description as well, like Twitter, Instagram, everything like that, including my Gmail if you want to submit a story. I've got a lot of content and a lot more coming, so just know that. But with that being said, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one.